I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And this is The Coin Show. On this episode of The Coin Show, Matt tells us about a famous coin hoard, this time talking about the Redfield Hoard. I discuss collecting United States half-dimes, and we talk about the coolest thing to walk into Matt's shop this week. But first, the news. The news is sponsored by the American Numismatics Association. Join today at money.org/join to be part of the world's largest organization dedicated to numismatic education. Matt, the United States Mint is narrowing the field for the 2015 Native American dollar reverse designs.
I have them in front of me.
The theme for 2015 is Mohawk Ironworkers.
I guess I can't say I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. The Mohawk Ironworkers are Native Americans that helped to build a lot of the skyscrapers that make up our New York skyline.
Huh, interesting.
According to CoinNews.net, their ironworker history dates back to the 1880s when they labored to build a bridge over the St. Lawrence River, which, that's New York, isn't it?
That's close.
Yeah, Montreal, somewhere right up in there. Their work ethic and sure footing demonstrated on that bridge gained them a respected reputation, which has led to generations of Mohawk iron workers.
Huh. Interesting. I'm sitting here looking at the different designs.
To be honest with you, I'm kind of uninspired by a lot of these designs. There's nothing that jumps out at me that I look at and say, wow, that's a really cool.
The only one I like is the one on the bottom right.
The one on the bottom right. That's the one with the guy like standing on it like a balance beam?
Yep, and then the skyline in the background.
The skyline in the background. Well, that does help illustrate exactly how dangerous the job was and the fact that, these guys were working a lot of times without a net. I think some of the other designs that are shown in these drawings try to really depict, how high up, like there's one that's kind of looking overhead over the top of somebody's hard hat, and you see way down underneath, you see all the ground and stuff like that.
That one
kind of
me
weird.
Vertigo just looking at it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird for a coin design. There's one that has a worker pulling back on a cable, kind of looks like he's jamming on a guitar.
It does.
It does. It looks like he's wailing on it. He's rocking a Stratocaster or something.
Yep, that's exactly what it looks like.
See, now that would be my choice. If I'm going to go with any of them, I'm going to go for the rock and roll.
Just because he looks like he's rocking a guitar instead of risking his life.
You never know. But and the lettering of United States of America is really it's different. It's very kind of Art Deco.
It's kind of rock and roll.
Yeah, well, I like that one. He is rocking that line.
Yeah,
it looks like a flying V, something straight out of the 70s.
It does. That's hilarious.
CoinNews.net is reporting that the unveiling of the 2015 design candidates comes just days before the new 2014 Native American dollar coins are being released to the public. Now, have you seen the designs for the 2014 Native American
Is
coins?
this the one that we kind of had talked about before that had all the different map references?
Well, this one, yes, it has the compass reference in the background, and it's got the woman, the Native American woman with a basket with, I want to say it's got fish and root vegetables, and the Native American man is standing behind with the peace pipe, and then from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock is, the northwest portion of the compass. Which personally I think is a really, really cool looking part of the coin. I'm not really inspired by the woman, or the man per se. But,
Hey, she wants to feed you root vegetables and fish.
yeah, well, that can't be all bad, I guess.
No, nothing bad about that.
No. But, this year's design is, one that, I don't know, it's not one of my favorite of the Native American designs. I think it might be a little lopsided. It seems like it's really heavy.
Details on the right. Yeah.
Right, to the 4 and 5 o'clock side. And for that, you may end up with striking problems with it.
Yeah, I was going to say they might have an issue with that. Who knows?
Yeah. So, but, it's funny that those come out right on the heels of, the 2015 designs. And not straying far from the subject, the 2016 design candidates have also just been released.
Oh, now here we go. This is cool.
Okay, now because now we're getting into something that you really like, World War I, World War II. Now the theme for 2016 is Code Talkers, Native Americans who served the United States during World War I and II. Code Talkers is a term often used to describe Native Americans who used their tribal languages as a means of secret communication during wartime.
Yep, I like these.
Yeah, and if you go to coinnews.net, you can see the line art designs for these, although, a lot of them are real similar.
Yeah, but I think a lot, compared to the ones we just looked at, I think a lot of these are pretty neat.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think this subject matter
But I guess it's subject matter, yeah.
Right. It might lend itself a little bit better to it. But if you look at some of these designs, some of these are they're just as bad in the fact that they're just too busy for a coin design. They seem to me if they were on like a 3-inch metal or a 5-ounce hockey puck, they might work a whole lot better because, like there's one where the soldier is sitting there as a communication soldier, obviously, and it shows his canteen and his knife and his rifle and his walkie-talkie on his back, and he's sitting there, scribing onto his pad, and it's just like all of this detail that...
And there's an eagle.
Is there?
I guess on the one that I'm looking at where he's writing.
Oh, okay.
You're looking at the one above that.
I'm looking at the one above that. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's just so much going on with some of these that is just a little bit too...
I was actually kind of drawn to the ones on the bottom left. Like the one with the outline of the guy's pretty cool.
See, you like the silhouettes of the helmets behind him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to me it has all of the depth of the Wyoming statehood quarter.
Well, that's true too.
That's just kind of it's a nice drawing, but in coin form, does it really do anything? Do you look at any of these designs and really see anything that you like? I like the one with the 2 helmets on it and the 2 feathers.
Yeah, that was pretty cool too.
It's simple.
And then the second one at the top, second one from the left. That one's kind of cool.
Second one from the left, he's standing there with
M1 carbine, and
he's got his rifle. It's got your eagle. Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah.
So some of these designs can, let's hope. We've said this before that the citizens, what is it, the CCAC, does a nice job with selecting them. So far, they've done okay with picking out the designs so far. I don't think they've really... Well, in the Native American series, I have to say that I've been pretty okay with what
they've done an okay job.
They've done a pretty okay job with what they've done. And like I said, if you go to coinnews.net, you can see the line art for those coins. Now, in non-golden dollar news, because, we've been
pounding the heck out of that.
Yeah, we have talked more about golden dollars than Matt has thought about them in the past 5 years.
Yes.
In non-golden dollar news, the 2014 National Baseball Hall of Fame commemorative coins are scheduled to launch on March 27th.
These are revolutionary, kids.
These are, if you go to coinnews.net, they feature the clad $0.50, the silver $1, and the gold $5 coins. These are the first concave convex coins ever produced by the United States Mint.
And they look kind of cool.
Well, are you going to get one?
I hadn't thought about it yet.
Are you going to are you thinking about it? I mean, you're not much of a modern collector.
Yeah, but with me, I always like things that are new. So I probably will.
That's
would
what I
think.
mean. This is that different.
Plus, it's America's pastime,
It is America's. Are you a big baseball fan, Matt?
No.
Okay. They do have some really nice pictures on the website, and I think that they've turned out about what we could have expected. This is something where we were complaining about the designs of the prospective Native American dollar coins. These designs at least are balanced, and they're on point to the subject. They're relevant.
Yeah, and this is, I can't say this very often, but this is actually a coin where both sides of the coin actually convey the message.
Yes. Yes, they do. Yes. Now, speaking of both sides of the coin, it appears that there is a new mule on the block.
Awesome.
The 2014 2-pound Britannia coins. Now, I don't know a whole lot of people that collect them, but the 2-pound Britannias and the 2-pound lunar coins are apparently the same size.
Uh-oh, did somebody goof up?
Somebody did. But they also have a different rim design that goes on the two different coins. Because, let's face it, the obverse of one is the queen, and the obverse of the other one is the queen.
I guess that's not a hard mistake to make.
Right. So, if I was looking at them, but they have a different rim design. And apparently some coins were, struck for not just one, but both with muled obverse and reverse dies.
Huh.
Now, my notes in this, I said often a mule happens, when a wrong die is used. And in the case of virtually anything that comes from Britain or the United Kingdom, we kind of get that because the obverses are all the same.
Yeah.
But how often has it been where two have been interchanged?
Well, but that explains it. It would be more interesting or more perplexing, I guess, if you only had one that went the other way instead of, a couple that went each way. So.
See, the only way that this makes sense to me is if you're running the processes side by side and the guy's walking with two different dies, and he just mixed them up.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
I don't know.
As they were producing them, maybe one got put in the wrong box. It happens. Stuff like that happens. That's human. That's the human error part.
I guess there are so many of the processes in making not only just the coins but the dies that are common to each other. I guess you're right.
And they're probably done in common areas of the mint. So
right. No, absolutely.
It's not unusual.
So I thought it was interesting that I've seen a lot of mules in my time, but I don't think I've ever seen a matched set.
Yeah.
Which is basically what these are, and PCGS has graded them.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Yeah, so you can actually buy, a matched PCGS set with a Great Britain lunar mule and a Britannia mule with the lunar obverse.
It looks like I was just sitting here reading the article. It looks like they, during PCGS Paris grading week, they certified 461 pieces. So it looks like there's actually quite a few out there. Just from reading the article again, it looks like the Royal Mint estimates that about 38,000 of the lunar mule with Britannia obverse exist, and then about 17,000 of the Britannia mule with a lunar obverse. So, interesting.
Yeah. So that's a lot of them.
That's a lot. That's quite a few.
That is a lot.
That might be one you're able to pick up, not horribly expensive.
I guess they're probably basing their estimates on die life.
I would think so. They probably know how many coins were made in the run. So,
right. And that's interesting. You can get a matched set of mules, hers and hers mules. And finally, the United States Mint has released its schedule for 2014 Hockey Puck 5-ounce America the Beautiful silver quarters. That's right, sports fans. The 2014 Hockey Pucks in early 2014.
What? We're back on track?
They've caught up one of the two most laggard programs at the United States Mint. Once they catch up the first spouse schedule, like that really matters, everything will be up to date. All of this without a mint director.
That's pretty awesome. Who's the acting director?
I don't know, but I think he deserves to be promoted to to not just acting, because he's acting better than a Mint director right now.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. So they've caught everything up, though. Now you can order your hockey pucks when you should be. In 2014, you get the 2014 coins, and
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, this year's this year's Great Smoky Mountains will come out in April. Shenandoah National Park in May. Arches National Park in June. So that's bam, 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 and then they kind of get things more into the schedule with Great Sand Dunes National Park in August and Everglades in November.
Hey, I like November, especially much better than I like having 2 years worth of coins made in 1 year. So.
Well, yeah, that was the thing is they all came so late that there's a better possibility that a market can absorb these coins if you bring them out in a kind of timely manner and in a manner that allows there to be some time in between.
Yeah.
For things to pick up some.
Yep.
And
good job, U.S. Mint.
Yes, finally.
High five.
Hey, high five. So yeah, with a fix, with a spot price of about $21 an ounce, it looks like they're going to be $155 this year for the 5 ounce coins, and that'll start selling next month. You know what? It's really not that bad.
Yeah.
And if you're a subscriber to it, you can get the additional 10% off, so you can actually get them for $140.
It's not a bad deal either.
Yeah, I mean that's not that bad. The premium's down to about $6 an ounce, $6.50 an ounce. That's a little bit more in the realm of something that people can find palatable.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Especially now that silver's kind of chilled out. I remember when it was $40 an ounce, and they were sending these suckers out at like $269, $279. So
you can find these and other news stories from the coin world on our website at coinshowradio.com. Just click on News on the top bar for our RSS news feed. Are you a member of the American Numismatic Association? The world's largest organization dedicated to numismatic education offers something for everyone, including an award-winning monthly magazine, The Numismatist, discounts on other numismatic publications, direct submissions to NGC, access to the biggest numismatic library in the world, and much, much more. Sign up today at money.org/join.
there you go.
Yeah. We ran a contest on last episode.
Did we?
On Twitter and Facebook. And yeah, the response was a little underwhelming, but we got our answers. And what would you rather?
The twit faces didn't help us any.
No, actually, well, you know what? The people responded. The teaming 10. The teaming 10 have responded. I got to find who is.
We love
the closest.
the teaming 10.
We love our teaming 10.
So the question was, how many books do you have in your collection?
The question was, how many numismatic books does Mike have in his collection? And I will tell you, and the question was without going over.
Oh, that's right.
That was the thing, is we did it Price is Right style, and it was without going over. And I still had somebody that guessed 1,000.
So what is the answer to the question? How many books do you have?
The actual correct answer, the actual retail price is 43.
That's a decent amount.
I have 43 books in my numismatic collection. So congratulations to Bill McGee, who guessed, he was the closest guess that we had at 35. He was the closest. He was under by 8. I have 43.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So Bill McGee, we are going to hook him up with an online membership to the ANA, and we thank everybody for playing. We had a correction.
Correction.
And we had a suggestion. Yes.
All right.
Okay. The correction was compliments of Tom Bush. Tom Bush, well-known Tom Bush from Coin Talk.
Yep.
That's Tom B. Tom B, who corrected me. Mike, was just listening to episode 78. You've probably been told already, but the British did not surrender to the Americans at the end, to end the Revolutionary War at Saratoga National Historic Park. The end of the Revolutionary War was the signing of the Treaty of Paris in November 1782. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see. In 1777, American forces met, defeated, and forced a major British army to surrender. It's the battles of Saratoga.
Oh, okay.
An event which led France to recognize the independence of the United States and enter the war as a decisive military ally of the struggling Americans. So without the surrender of the British there, it is likely that we would not have gotten any help from France, which, we would have been kind of done in the Revolutionary War. So
yeah,
thanks to Tom for setting me straight.
Keeping us honest.
Yep, keep us honest all the time. Like it. Also, I asked the people on Facebook to, we're told them that we're recording episode 80 of the Coin Show tonight. Does anyone have a message for the boys? And Todd Watson Broom said, Matt, force yourself to not say, and this is in quotes, I agree completely.
I do say that a lot.
You do. You say that, and you say you're exactly right. But I'd rather say that you say that than, Mike, you don't know what you're talking about, which is what a lot of other people say.
Well, I've just got to make sure that you look good.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then you are doing a bang-up job of that, my friend. I will tell you.
I agree completely.
I love our listeners.
I do too. That was fun.
Members of the American Numismatic Association have access to the Dwight N. Manley Numismatic Library, the world's largest lending library. The library will even ship books to your home. All you pay is the cost of shipping. Take advantage of this great research opportunity today. Go to money.org/join to become a member. Matt, a new and interesting idea that you had this week, as opposed to the stale old raunchy ones that we keep on rehashing, is that you want to go over some of the more famous coin hoards in history.
Yeah, I with the inspiration of the Saddle Ridge Hoard, which we covered last week, and actually Stax just announced, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, that they have a new hoard out of New York City called the 57th Street Hoard, which includes over 1 million silver coins. I figured let's kind of start a reoccurring segment that we can come back to from time to time about famous coin hoards. People always seem to be drawn to them. They always seem to gain national attention sometimes, as is the case of the Saddle Ridge Hoard, which has been everywhere.
Well, sure, because it's a get rich quick story. It's a story of people basically hitting the lottery. I mean, it's amazing how that happens. It's not all coin hoards are like that, but a lot of, I mean, when you get into some of these really big hoards, they all go back to somebody that's not always holding all his, cards.
Well, and as far as the personal hoards go, that is very true. But then there's been other famous hoards like, the Central America, which was a shipwreck. And this was a giant hoard of gold coins that was pulled up. So I thought it would be fun to kind of cover some of the different hoards and give the backstory to them. So this particular episode, I wanted to cover the Redfield Silver Dollar Hoard. And this was the hoard of Olivia Redfield, whose stash of Morgan and Peace dollars exceeded 400,000 coins.
Now that's $500,000, or almost
half a million
dollars. When $500,000 was $500,000.
Yeah. when it actually meant something.
I mean, that's almost, what, 250,000 ounces of silver.
Yeah, you take 400,000 times 0.77, and that'll tell you how many ounces of silver were there.
Wow.
So, a little bit about LeVere Redfield. He was born near the turn of the century. As he matured, he became a potato farmer. And during the Great Depression,
And a coin hoarder.
and during the Great Depression, he moved to California, where he began to purchase junk stocks and also foreclosed real estate. So he had some foresight, and as his investments matured, he actually used the money to purchase silver dollars, as well as a large home and farmland in Reno, Nevada.
Farmland in
Yep.
Reno.
And he cashed his money in for bags of Morgan and Peace dollars because he distrusted banks. And as he purchased these bags, he hauled them home and pushed them down the coal chute into his basement.
Now, see, why have I heard this story before? It's almost like a dumbwaiter, that people just keep pouring and pouring and pouring stuff into, right?
Well, I mean, that's the way I guess how he wanted to do it. I mean, it's not unusual. I've heard other stories that involve similar, either trap doors or, just stuff being stored somewhere like that.
Well, I guess you can't put it into your mattress, so.
That's very true. That would be a horrible night's sleep.
Yes.
And, as he bought these bags, he continued to live modestly as a potato farmer. And he drove an old rusty pickup truck. Now, as the word of LeVere Redfield's hoarding spread, which is unfortunate, he was actually robbed several times. And this was mostly because people got word that he was going around to the banks and buying up these silver dollars, so he had to have them somewhere. So in response to this, he actually began traveling further and further away to acquire his coins. Some of his coins came from as far away as Pennsylvania, and by the time he died in 1976, he had amassed a little more than 400 bags of silver dollars, each containing 1,000 coins.
Okay, now, Matt, I know that you've handled one. I can't say I ever have.
I have one right now.
How big is a bag of silver dollars? Bag of 1,000 silver dollars?
I think it's a little more than 80 pounds.
But, I mean, how big is it? Is it like the size of a bag of potatoes? Is it?
Yeah, thereabouts. A little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger than a sack of taters. But it weighs about 80 pounds, so it's
yeah,
really
they're not light. They're not light, but they're really cool. I've only got to handle a couple original bags, but, they're definitely an interesting thing when you can see one.
And there's 700 ounces?
770 ounces approximately.
770 ounces of silver in one of them.
Yeah, approximately.
Wow. So he had 400 bags. And now you said that he had, he'd shoved them down the coal chute. I'm assuming he didn't open the bags up and dump the coins down the coal chute. No. I keep on thinking of the corn. You remember the World's Fair that had the corn crib?
Yeah.
With $1 million silver dollars in it. That's what I think of when I hear things like this.
Yeah. No, it seems to be that they were kept in bags. And the coolest part I think about the Redfield Hoard is actually the story of the dispersal of the hoard. After he died, they decided that it was time to sell the hoard. And because of the size of the hoard, it actually made it impossible to store the collection in a single bank vault.
No, wait a minute. 400 bags of silver dollars. I mean, are you saying it's too big to physically store in a bank vault?
Mean, if you think about just your average bank vault, there's not a ton of extra room in there between the boxes and stuff. So stacking up 400 bags in the corner or in the back of the room is going to be kind of hard.
Wow.
And furthermore, the collection was actually too big for anyone to examine every piece in the collection. So, given that, the dispersal of the collection actually went pretty well because there was kind of a grassroots effort to engage and attract coin dealers from throughout the country. Basically, they kind of put this out there and said, hey, we have this, we want to sell this. We can all make some money. Let's do it.
Yeah, so it was a kind of sight unseen, maybe bid a little less, but you get what you get.
Yeah. Now there was an auction actually for the entire collection, and at first the entire collection was sold for $7.3 million, which, if you figure it out, is approximately $18 a coin.
$18. Now, when was this? I mean, what year was it sold?
I don't remember what year it was sold. I wasn't able to figure that out.
Okay.
I'm assuming somewhere in the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Now, and the $7.3 million was actually a lot lower than the collection's value. And over the next 3 years, the owner actually promoted the coins through dealers and also magazines. And most of the buyers of the coins out of the hoard were actually collectors rather than investors. So at this time, there wasn't a lot of speculation going on in the market. So it actually helped the Redfield Hoard because these coins went straight to collectors.
Okay, so they got absorbed into the market and they got really dissipated. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Nobody was sitting on little mini hoards of it afterwards.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. The hoard was actually pretty popular among collectors too because there were a lot of uncirculated coins in the collection, and actually there were a few relatively key dates. Like, for example, I know there was at least one bag of uncirculated 1887 S's, which even today is still a pretty tough coin in Mid-State. I think in like 63 they bring $600, $650 a coin. So, to have at least one bag of those, was pretty intriguing because they were still better dates back then as well.
Sure. Now suddenly to have 1,000 of them appear on the market.
Yeah. Now the coins were sold two ways. They were placed in sealed tubes for bulk sales, and they were also placed in special plastic holders for individual coins.
Special plastic holders, kind of like the GSA?
Very similar to the GSA dollars, actually. They have a red insert on the outside. They indicate that they come from the Redfield Hoard. And the holders actually are collectible themselves because, just like the GSA Hoard, a lot of these coins were cracked out of the single holders to be, sold or certified.
Okay, and then they
so
weren't...
to actually find them in the original holders is kind of tough.
And they weren't something that you could readily reseal or
No,
duplicate.
they were actually, as far as the plastic goes, they were actually very similar to the GSA dollars.
Cool.
They were sealed, and actually, believe it or not, NGC certifies them, just like they do the
Just like
GSA.
the GSA. Wow, that's cool.
Yep, they have a sticker, they stick on them, and they do them. So, I thought that this was a cool place to start our Famous Coin Hoard segment because I've always been intrigued by this. This is actually a case of how the dispersal of the hoard went well. They don't always go well. They don't always, they don't always go as smooth as the Redfield Hoard did. And
it would seem to me that in cases of hoarding, more often than not, the person that probably pays the most as far as value-wise is the person hoarding them. That when they are dispersed afterwards, they're generally dispersed at a discount to what they are, or they are soon sold at a discount because of the population that eventually goes out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, definitely, because, there just aren't that many people out there that have the ching to say, okay, yeah, I'll buy 400,000 silver dollars. So...
Right, so your number of buyers is lower, and because the number of buyers is lower, the offer for them is obviously going to be less. And the bigger the chunk that somebody buys, the less they're willing to pay. And it ends up kind of going down the line with the person that actually did the hoarding being the one that ends up taking the biggest bite in the end as far as...
Yeah. But,
But that kind of serves them right.
At the time, that probably wasn't a horrible price, around $18 a coin for uncirculated coins. You're talking late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, but think about how many years it took him to assemble a hoard like that. You have to be talking, 15, 20, 30 years that it took to amass something like that.
I don't disagree.
And likely he was getting the coins for $1 a piece.
Oh yeah, I'm almost positive he was, or slightly more, but
yeah. So I mean, even at the $18 a coin, I guess, he did okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I thought it was a cool story, and an interesting and intriguing moment in numismatic history.
Matt, my nephew is putting together this set of coins for his kids that he's just going to kind of toss into a box. Okay. And he wants obsolete stuff, just kind of different stuff, that is not your average find in a jewelry box kind of stuff.
Sure.
So over, the first couple of weeks I've been helping him. I helped him locate a nice 2-cent piece. And what we stumbled across last week was something, and it kind of piqued my interest and my curiosity, and then it kind of got me going on what I want to talk about this week.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it when inspiration comes from something like this.
Well, yes, and particularly since, everybody thinks of me as the modern guy and constantly, living in the 20th century, which, I mean, let's face it, that's pretty much where my world was. But I am also a big fan of obsolete coin designs and of stuff that just doesn't exist anymore. So I decided that I was going to steer my nephew to buying a halftime.
I love halftimes.
Halftimes are a really interesting denomination to collect. It's an obsolete coin with an unfamiliar denomination.
Yeah.
Now, these have long been replaced by the nickels that we encounter every day. And so long gone are halftimes from the world of common money that I have never encountered one in circulation, nor has anyone that I know.
I don't think anybody alive has.
Well, you might be surprised.
That's true, but not circulating, just happened to get dropped in a roll.
Never know. Made in 3 distinct types in the first 10 years of minting, the early halftimes can be one of the more challenging sets of any to collect by date. Less than 250,000 of the coins were minted between the years 1794 and 1805.
Yeah.
Some coins, like the 1802, have really tiny mintages. They just made just over 3,000 coins in 1802. And a long hiatus for the denomination began in 1806, and the next halftimes wouldn't even be made until 1829. So I mean, you're talking about a denomination that has these series that kind of here, there, they come, they go, they're gone. Yeah. They don't show up for a long time.
They were the Susan B. Anthony's.
It was more common for coins to come and go back then, though, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
The mintages for the rest of the years in halftimes in general after 1829 are more plentiful. Now, most were made in the millions, with 2 exceptions falling just short of that. Most early halftime collectors do so by type because the coins can get really pricey. And finding one fitting specimen of each type gives them a goal that's more attainable.
Yeah. I can't say I've ever met anybody that's put a set of halftimes together.
Yeah, by date?
Yeah, I can't think of anybody.
Well, things changed with coins minted after 1829, and the higher mintages allow for the more conventional collecting by date and mint mark. Interesting about the pre-1838 halftimes is that they were made before the United States Mint standard of 900 fine silver. So these coins were minted in 89.24% silver, which I think is just kind of neat because it's obsolete. It's something that they haven't done in a long, long time.
Yeah.
You think of coin silver, you think of 900, period. Yeah. So you're going back, 150 years. It's just, anyways. So I thought it was really interesting that these coins are minted in 89.24 silver with reeded edges. Even the coins of 1794, the halftimes, have reeded edges. And this is likely because the coins were too small for lettering on their edges.
Yeah, they're tiny little
But
things.
very, very few of the early mint products, from the 1700s, from the 18th century, have reeded edges at all, because it was hard to do in the open collars.
Yeah. Oh.
Which is another reason why these coins are just so darn cool. At 15 and a half millimeters, they're one of the smaller coins ever produced by the United States Mint. But the fact that the coins are small and that they held very little metal made them perfect candidates to be saved by the average Joe. 5 cents was a small enough amount of money that most could afford to save it. And so the survival rates of these coins are better than some of its contemporaries, even given these really, really tiny mintages.
Interesting. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, it's not like a gold dollar or a $2.50 gold piece. This is 5 cents. This is an amount that even the average common man might have been able to save. So if one continues to collect half dimes by type after 1838, it's totally understandable and fun as well, because there are 4 types of half dimes prior to the Seated Liberty series and 4 within the series itself. So that's a total of 8 coins that you can tailor to many budget levels. And half dimes allow you to make a collection of 8 coins. This is bold and underlined, really deep pockets collection. I put my notes, the numismatic equivalent of the cinnamon challenge. Have you ever seen the cinnamon challenge?
Oh, it's horrible.
Yes. You could do that with these 8 coins. You can make the numismatic equivalent of the cinnamon challenge. Or you can collect lower grade pieces if you like and find some really nice examples of the early coins for relatively little money. So, you can take this literally anywhere you want it to go in the realm of collecting. No matter how big your investment level is, you can do it with half dimes for the most part.
Yeah, oh yeah, I agree with that. But I don't agree with that completely. So.
Okay, well, tell me where you. Oh, I agree with that, but I don't agree with it completely. Tell me where you don't completely agree.
Well, I was more poking jest at our listener that didn't want me to say that, but.
Okay, I'm gonna bust you on that a couple of times this episode. It'll be great.
That's fine. But I think that you can definitely find most of the coins, in even like a dealer's junk box. Sometimes we end up with a little box of half dimes just because we do get so many of them.
Yeah, it's amazing how small they are, and how they've managed to survive. Because I looked at some of the mintages of them, and they're minuscule.
Yeah.
They're just tiny. Seated Liberty half dimes feature 4 subtypes. The no obverse stars type was made in only the first 2 years, 1837 and 1838. In 1838, the U.S. Mint branched out, and with that we see the first branch mint half dime, the 1838 O. Stars were added to the obverse in 1838 and would remain until another design change in 1859. The third type of Seated Liberty half dime featured arrows at the date, and this was done to denote a reduction in silver weight in the coins. The arrows would appear on all silver coins from 1853 to 1855, so everything from half dime to dollar all had the arrows from 1853 to 1855. Eventually, the arrows were removed in 1856, but the weight of the coins remained the same. The half dimes of 1856 to 59 are indistinguishable in design from those made pre-arrows, from 1839 to 53, except for the weight. Now, we've talked about this a lot. Gresham's law, applies to these coins in the fact that anytime you have 2 coins in circulation and one has more value, the more valuable ones disappear.
Yeah, well, of course.
So the heavier coins disappeared, they got melted, they didn't circulate. The final change came in 1860 when the legend United States of America was moved from the reverse to the obverse of the coin. This move took place on all silver coin denominations across the board. There is a transitional mule during this period, which has no legend front or back because of the mispairings of dies during 1860. But it's also possible that they were struck on purpose, as this was during the tenure of James Barton Longacre.
He was
So,
a crafty fella.
well, he was definitely up for being inventive. I found it interesting that this was the last time all of our silver coinage from half dime to dollar would share a common design. In my opinion, half dimes fit perfectly into the old school obsolete coin niche. You know, it's a good, solid focus that would command respect from any knowledgeable collector of any era.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Proofs of this denomination are also available. Although some have been cataloged from 1838 to 1859, most were made between 1860 and the series end in 1873, and none were minted in quantities above 1,000 coins.
Yeah, they're out there though. You can those coins tend to have been saved, obviously, more than uncirculated coins. So sometimes it's actually, I would think, easier to find a proof half dime on certain dates than uncirculated pieces.
Okay.
High grade uncirculated pieces.
Oh, absolutely. You know, because the people that bought the proof coins definitely took better care of them.
Oh yeah.
The proofs minted prior to 1860 are extremely rare and command large prices. Those of the 1860 to 73 era are somewhat more affordable, having price tags under $1,000. I think that half dimes are an interesting coin. Not only did they circulate at the same time and alongside of the 5-cent nickels, they are miniature replicas of the silver coins from the earliest days of the United States Mint. You know, this is a coin that you can purchase an example for well under $100 in nice condition. It's a little surprising. Yeah, it's a little surprising, but with the small amount of saving that it required for families at the time to keep a few, thanks to them, the surviving populations are still pretty large. Half dimes give us a link to a time when metal, meant everything in coins as to their value, but even further if we dare, to a time before our coinage was the standard 900 silver. Diminutive in size, half dimes could be a monster collecting challenge if you like, or tame if you don't. I think that in any way that you decide to go, they can be a set that can be absolutely awe-inspiring and completely amazing. Uh-oh. It's
This is.
Is
Go
this
ahead.
do you have a monster to share with us this week?
It's a coin that I've only had in my ownership one other time.
In your dreams, right?
Oh yeah. Well, and this one just walked right in the door. So this is the coolest thing that walked in the shop this week was. You want to guess?
Well, okay. If it's the coolest thing in your mind, it's got to be something from the 19th century.
It does have a 1/8 in the date.
Okay, so something from the 19th century. It's gold.
Nope.
Then it's silver.
Nope.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
So it's copper.
It is copper nickel.
It's copper nickel. Okay, now I'm completely dumbfounded because this has to be like a proof shield nickel or something close.
No, sir. The coolest thing that walked into the shop this week was an 1856 Flying Eagle penny.
An 1856. Now, is this a proof or an unk?
This was a proof.
This is a proof. Is it certified? Is it raw?
Oh, no, this is the best part.
Oh,
this coin was in an album with a complete set of Lincoln or Indian head pennies as well.
So we're talking about like a Whitman slider album?
Yeah, old school.
Wow.
And the thing was, the customer that brought it in had no idea what he had. This collection was his father's, and he had it passed on to him. And he's come up with some tough times, and he doesn't really want to, but he's having to sell off some of this stuff, just for whatever reason. And he's lucky he came to me because I doubt anybody else would have said, hey, this is a really rare coin, and I'm going to pay you a very strong number for it.
See, here's my recollection of 1856 Flying Eagle cents. I remember when I was a kid, we used to collect pennies all the time, and no, we didn't have Flying Eagle cents, but we used to use the Blue Whitman folders.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go into an Indian Head and Flying Eagle folder, because they're both put together,
Yep.
there are only a couple of holes for Flying Eagle cents, but the one for 1856 has an insert inside of it that you
That
have to
says
punch
rare.
out, and it says rare. Yes. And I mean, it's like, it should say don't even think about it,
Don't bother,
because,
yeah.
right, because who would put a coin of that magnitude into a push-in, type, but yet, so that was my, recollection of Flying Eagle cents, and so this is the one that actually says rare.
Yeah.
This came from did it come from an old Whitman album?
No, it was in one of the Library of Coin albums. One of the old Library
We're
of
talking
Coin
really,
albums.
really, really old.
Yeah, yeah. And, I mean, it was an old collection. Like I said, the guy's father put it together and left it to his son, and his son is slowly selling it. So
Okay, so I assume that you liberated this coin from the rest of the set.
actually, believe it or not, I did buy the entire set.
Okay.
Like I said, the son was blown away actually when I came up with my offer. Now I will put this out there that the coin had been lightly cleaned,
Okay.
which
Not
is
unusual.
not unusual, but was most definitely 100% genuine. It took me about 10 minutes of cracking open books and just double, triple checking to make sure that I was right, but it was definitely genuine. And I did buy the set, and the first customer that looked at the set after I bought it for me. So
Bought the set.
it did not stick around very long.
Now that's the set minus the 1856, right?
No, that was the whole deal. The
He
whole
bought the
set.
whole shebang.
Yep.
So it remained in that coin.
It stayed right where it started.
Which is kind of fitting and nice. There's
Yeah.
a poetry that goes with that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool though. It kind of blasted me away when I was actually in the back of the store, and Evan said, "Matt, you might want to come look at this." And
He doesn't do that all that often, does he?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't do that. And so when something like that happens, I know that it's something pretty cool. So
It's like, uh-oh. That's like, you hear, it's kind of like the dog who hears the siren in the distance. It's like Matt drops his tools, turns, and he looks. It's like, I must go
it's
see
more
this.
of like it's more of a what's this going to cost me type moment, but
Yeah, but only for a while.
only for a little bit. and
Only
then
for
I
a little
realized
bit. Now,
how awesome.
did you take any pictures of it?
I do have pictures, so
You have
I
pictures.
am going to put them
So we're
on my
gonna,
blog.
we can expect to find those on whatwalkedin.com
Yep.
sometime, probably around the airing of this episode.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I wanted to just kind of save it until this episode came out so I could kind of drop them both at the same time. But, yeah, you'll be able to find some pictures of it in the original album. Actually, I never even took it out of the album.
That's outstanding. That is really, really cool. So,
Yeah.
so you said that this was a proof coin, right?
Yes, sir. It started life as a proof.
It started life as a proof.
And it was kind of mishandled a little, and it had been lightly cleaned. But, I mean, it's not every day that a coin like that walks into the store.
Well, 150 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
in that time for it to have, not been completely mauled is just a miracle itself.
Yeah. So that was the coolest thing, and that was a pretty cool thing this week. I was kind of excited this episode because I knew what it was right off the bat. So
That one
sometimes
would even
this episode I have to kind of sit down and scratch my head and think about, man, what was the coolest thing this week? But
yeah, except this one qualifies for a new segment called Matt's Monster Coin of the Week.
No, see, this is like that'll be like one of my top 5 for the year. I think
I would hope so.
it's got to be.
Yeah. We would like to thank our contributors, the Facebook friends, Twitter followers, people who wrote to ask questions or in some other way inspired us. Our thanks to the great folks at the American Numismatic Association for their support. Visit them at money.org. Our thanks to Tony Alvarez and the Tony Alvarez Band for our theme music. Visit them at TonyAlvarezBand.com. We'd also like to thank Mayotley for our bumpers. Her site is hannahmayotley.wix.com/portfolio. And another big thanks to our intern, Taylor Webb. But while these people are important contributors to the show, their importance absolutely pales in comparison to you, the listeners, without whom this entire endeavor would be completely pointless. We love our audience, and we love our audience contributions. Send us your thoughts. Email us at Mike or Matt at coinshowradio.com, or you can also ask us questions. Send a question to questions@coinshowradio.com. Visit our webpage, conveniently located at coinshowradio.com. There you will find Matt's articles or my book reviews. On the book review page, you'll find links where you can purchase them on Amazon.com. Purchase one of each, at least, today. We also have pictures and bios if you're interested in knowing what we look like, or if you want to create internet memes, dartboards, or just want to make fun of us. You can also visit our listener map, and there you can place a pin in it and show us where you live. The winner of this week's contest was Bill McGee. Bill McGee guessed, how many books does Mike have in his numismatic library? He guessed 35. The actual answer was 43. We really enjoyed your participation. We appreciate you all sending in your guesses. They were entertaining. Speaking of entertaining, we have 2 new places for your entertainment pleasure. Check out our new blogs. Check out a cool blog about all the cool stuff that walks into Matt's shop at whatwalkedin.com, or you can read my fun coin facts that I post every day at funcoinfacts.com. Feel free to stop by, check out our blogs, and give us some feedback. Like our page on Facebook, come and comment on one of our posts or post something of your own. Just try and keep it coin related. You can find us either by searching The Coin Show or Coin Show Radio. Follow us on Twitter. You will occasionally find some exclusive content there as well. You can find us or even mention us in your discussion. We are at The Coin Show. We continue to post a new coin fact every day on Facebook and Twitter. Just saying. Just saying. We also have a new page on Pinterest where we'll post the cool pictures of all the cool things that walk into Matt's shop and other coin-related and coin show-related pictures. You can find us there, too. We're known there as The Coin Show. You can listen to our
everywhere as The Coin Show.
We're everywhere. We are The Coin Show. You can listen to our show on Coin Talk as well as other forums. If you'd like to host a player on your website, just email me for details. Our Windows 8 app is available in the Windows 8 phone app store. Download it several hundred times. If you have an Android phone, we have an app for that as well. Download it on Amazon.com for only $1.99. What a bargain for $1.99. And as always, our show is available for free on iTunes and on Spreaker.com. You can download full versions of the show there. We urge you to do so and share it with your friends. More people to continue to find us every day. Do so and be the good-looking one of your friends.
Ooh.
Yeah. So for The Coin Show, I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And we'll talk to you next time on The Coin Show.
I like good-looking ones.
Yes, we all do.
No.
Well, you guys don't have a team, so.
No, we sure don't.
I'll lend you one. We got a couple. We got a couple of them up here. Neither one of them are any good. So
yeah. Well, you're a Sox fan. That's the problem.
I am. Well, that's not a problem.
It is kind of.
Are you a Cub fan?
Oh
God, I'm sorry. All this time.
Unfortunately.
All this time. God.
If I had to pick a team, yeah.
Wow. If you had to pick a team, you would be better off throwing a dart at a board and just picking. Do you realize that the Florida Marlins came into existence and within 7 years won 2 World Series?
Hey, dude, I get it. Trust me. I get it. Trust me.
Okay. Well, don't get me started on the Cubs.
Okay, back to coins. Go.
Okay, anyway, so the news. The news.
The news?
I'm all cracked up about the news.